My dad always used to tell me is that the worst thing anybody can tell you is no. And it only takes one yes to make a difference or to put yourself in a role where you can make a difference. So put yourself out there, let people tell you no, but make yourself heard and be consistent.
Welcome to Shaping the Basin. I'm here today with Keely from the Klamath Basin Homebuilders Association. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. How long have you been in that role with Homebuilders Association?
So I took over the executive director position there in the beginning of January, but I've been with the Home Builders Association for about a little over a year and a half now.
Yeah. The Homebuilders Association has been around a very long time.
Yeah, so they first filed as a nonprofit in 1969.
Yeah. I think about that. The chamber was in 1905.
Oh, wow.
And as an executive director, it's kind of crazy to think that you're part of an organization that's been around that long. Have you had that same, like, oh, this has been here a really long time and I'm so new?
It has, especially because they have kept a lot of memorabilia from over the years, pictures. So I was actually going through our filing cabinets when I first took over to clear out some old stuff, and there's pictures of the Home Expo in the 90s. There's newspaper articles. They still have pictures of old directors and people who have been the president. It's really cool. It's like a little museum in my back room.
That's awesome. Do you have old minutes by chance, like from way back when?
We do. So my filing cabinets, I still have files from like 1986, and I haven't had a chance to go through them all, but there's a lot of really cool old paperwork to
Yeah.
look over.
I was curious if you'd looked through them. One time I picked up a book that was from like 1930s
Mhm.
and I just randomly opened to a page and it was like, oh, we're still working on that today. I mean, the situation may have changed a little bit, but we were still dealing with workforce issues back then.
Oh, that's
So,
cool.
yeah. What drew you to the Home Builders Association?
So when I moved to Klamath, I wanted to get out in the community. I was a brand new mom and I was not in the workforce at the moment. So I started doing volunteer work with them. I had known the previous director, Teresa Edwards, on a friend basis. And so I started volunteering and I just really enjoyed what they stand for and helping grow our local businesses and community. And it just, um, became something that was really important to me.
hmm We had a conversation in another realm recently about community, and you had told me that was one of the things you love about Klamath. But what does community mean to you?
So, community just to me means being a part of something outside of yourself and caring about where you live and putting effort into growing the community where we live so that it becomes important to everyone and it becomes a good place for people to live and people to grow and thrive and put down roots.
Yeah. How long have you been in Klamath?
So I have lived here twice now. This is my second time living here. So I lived here for a while during COVID because at the time where I was living, my office got shut down. So I had family here, and I lived here for a year then. And currently, I've been living here for the last 3 years.
Okay. And you mentioned volunteering with the home builders, but in the other times that you were living here, did you do things to become part of the community? Did you volunteer in other realms?
So when I lived here in the past, because it was during COVID, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for me to get involved. So I didn't in that aspect. I set up with my sisters at the farmers market when I first moved here, and we used to sell like those those like glitter tumbler cups and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that. Just little things because we weren't working and we wanted to still be out and get out of the house and be involved. So we set up there. But other than that, it's mostly been the home builders and the chamber ambassadors.
Mhm. Have you found it easy to become part of the community? I'm always curious when somebody's new if it's easy or hard to feel like you're a part of it.
I think it's about the effort that you put in. Since I've been here, everyone has been super welcoming. So I think if you put yourself out there and you get involved, it's really easy to become ingrained in the community. I mean, when I moved here 3 years ago, no one knew who I was. I was a face in the crowd. But coming to the Awake-At-Eights and joining the chamber ambassadors, becoming a part of the home builders, going to networking events in the community, Third Thursday, all that. I can't go anywhere now without being recognized and without having a friendly face saying hello to me. So I think it's really about what you make it.
Mhm. Did Klamath feel like home right away?
It did. I used to spend a lot of time here as a kid. I have two half siblings that live here. So when I was growing up in the summer, I used to come to Klamath to spend time with them. And I grew up going to Third Thursday and, going to Lake of the Woods for the kids' fishing events and all of that. And so I've always really loved Klamath and it's always felt like home to me. And I knew that one day I wanted to end up back here.
And now here you are.
And here I am.
And you have a little one,
Hmm.
if you don't mind,
Yep.
3-year-old. Are you excited about the opportunities for him to grow up here?
I am. So I grew up in Boise, Idaho, which is a much bigger town than Klamath. But I really love him being here because it is a real sense of community. And we do have a lot of friendly people here. I mean, he's 3 years old, and I will still like get people that stop me to say hello, even to him, because they know him from daycare or from the park or from the kids' events that the library hosts that he attends. So I'm excited for him to grow up in this town where you really do have a sense of community and people care about each other.
I think sometimes when you have an organization that's been around as long as the home builders and then you're new, has it been difficult to honor what's been done, but also make some changes?
Yeah, no, I do understand what you're saying, and it is hard to make those changes because a lot of the people who are involved with the Home Builders Association have been for a very long time. I have people who are on my board um, who have sat on my board for over 25 years. Like there is a long history with the home builders and things that are have always been done a certain way. So it can be hard. Sometimes I do get a little pushback. Um, like even last year coming into like the home expo and figuring out like the traditions of that and how to honor those traditions but also grow it into the future and make it bigger and better. You run into those speed bumps with people, but I think especially being there for the last 8 months, people have seen the change and the growth, and so I think that people are now becoming more open to my ideas of change, and I think it's a balancing act for sure of keeping those traditions, but also charging it forward into the future.
Mm. Have you found some effective ways to help people accept change?
I think really it's about, effectiveness. I think that people are more willing to be accepting of change when they see growth out of it, um, and if you have like a clear strategy and where you want things to go. I think it's really about communication and making sure that my members still feel heard and know that they're not getting left behind, but that what we're doing is going to benefit them in the future, even though it's going to be maybe in a different way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
How do you get information from your members? How do you maintain a relationship with all of them?
So we have a lot of events that we do throughout the year. We do a lot of networking events where we like to, stay in touch with them. We do our home expo every year, which is a huge event, and I like to go around and make sure that I'm uh, letting everybody know that I'm seeing them and making those face-to-face connections. We also send out like surveys to people. We have people who um, are members who join our committees. So our committees that we have at the home builders are open to all of our members to join. So that's another way that we make sure our members are being heard. We have our board meetings open to members. They are welcome to come and sit in. We just try to make it really transparent and open for them to be involved, as well as making sure that we are going out and seeing them as well. Tomorrow, even, I'm going to be down at the Diamond Pro Lunch handing out snow cones to contractors and seeing people face to face.
Yeah, that community outreach.
Community outreach for sure.
Absolutely. What in your background has best prepared you for being executive director?
So I actually grew up in a nonprofit back in Boise. My dad ran a nonprofit called Seniors Helping Seniors. And I think that is what has like best prepared me. We spent a lot of time doing community outreach. We did regular events and like shows where we had vendors coming and setting up. We had people who were members with us, and we would basically spend the year raising money to give back to the VA, senior centers around the area, or we would donate to specific senior groups. So I watched my dad run that from the time that I was 8 until I moved out of the house. And I was always really active in that. And so I think watching him do that and growing up in that realm really helped me with taking on the home builders.
Yeah. What have been some of your biggest challenges so far?
Oh, public speaking. And this right here. When they interviewed me, they asked me what my weakness was, and I told them public speaking. It makes me really nervous. So I think that's probably one of the hardest things I've had to overcome is um, because at every event, I have to get up and thank everyone for coming. And, we have XYZ lined up. This is what we're trying to accomplish. So um, getting up and facing my fears in front of those people and sounding professional and making sure I'm getting all my points across and not forgetting anything or anybody.
Are you a script it out or wing it?
So I really try to be a script person because I know that's probably the best way, but I get up there and sometimes I just like black out. So in, in the best way. So I kind of do both. I usually will have a script of bullet points that I need to hit, and other than that, I'm just going out of pocket. Otherwise, I will stutter trying to read my script.
I think that's valid. I think public speaking is the number one fear of most people. Do
Mhm.
you have any other tips you'd give somebody else that's worried about it?
That's worried about public speaking.
Yeah.
I think the best tip that I have for anyone is to just be relatable, be able to laugh at yourself. If you mess up, it's okay. Most people are really understanding, and most people do have a fear of public speaking. So even if you aren't perfect, no one is going to, throw you under the bus. It's a lot worse in your head than it is in the reality of it. So I think it's just about realizing that you too are a person and everyone else is going to realize that as well.
Yeah. Has it gotten easier?
It has gotten easier. I was really thrown under the bus as soon as I got in because the first event that I had to speak at was actually your gala in front of 500 plus people. So I really got thrown in the deep end, but I've had a lot of people to help me and give advice. Jennifer Fairfield is my president of my board, and after my speeches, she'll be like, "Okay, this is what went really well. These are what we could work on," and she's been really helpful in that aspect and helping me grow as a public speaker.
You mentioned strategies. What are some of the things that you want to do at Home Builders?
So I really want to grow the association to new heights. I want to make our events bigger and better, grow our membership so that we have a lot more reach in the community, um, and just really push us so that we are the go-to resource for contractors, for homeowners, for people looking to buy. I want to make sure that we are, top of mind and really involved in all aspects of the home and the trades industry.
Mhm. Why do you think Home Builders is important in this community?
So I think that home builders are important in this community because the trades are the foundation of any community. I mean, the infrastructure, making sure that we have a good market, making sure that new businesses that come in are using our local people and just keeping the work here local and keeping the trades strong, I think is going to overall help the community as a whole, and helping those local contractors, get the big jobs like Winco and stuff like those are going to help our community and our commerce and everything. So it's going to make Klamath stronger and make it a better place for everybody to live. It keeps it local.
Can you tell me a couple of the things that you have planned over the next year?
Yeah, so we actually have a new event that we're rolling out in the summer of 2026, which is very exciting. We're going to be doing an event down at Steen Sports Park next July called Build and Brew. So that's going to be another community event like the Home Expo is. So we are going to have live music, activities for families, our vendors. We were throwing around ideas of a cooking contest and just making it a real community outreach for our members. We also are making our expo grander than ever. We're hiring outside marketing to really push that. We're doing a revamp of the layout to drive growth, more vendors, and we are growing our membership. We're really working on our marketing over the year in general and our community outreach so that we can help our members. So we're really just focusing on putting our members out there and growing the Home Builders Association so that we can be more effective for our members.
Do you, so you're a young leader in our community. I love seeing the energy that you've brought to it. Do you feel like that has your, I don't want to say youth, but your young leadership has benefited you well in it so well, or do you feel like you've been met with some resistance?
I think it depends on who you're going to on who you're meeting with or who you're having conversations with. Obviously, there are some people who will doubt me because of my age. It's just the name of the game. Um, but I think that it's benefited me a lot as well because we have new people coming into the workforce, new people coming into the trades, younger people starting businesses in the community. And I think that it really, bridges that gap from this association that has been around and doing what it's been doing since 1969 to, you know, 2025, where we do have new people coming into the community, new people who are going to be taking over leadership roles, and new people who are going to be really driving Klamath Falls as a whole. So I think it bridges really well, and especially with how marketing and that kind of stuff and community outreach has really changed over the years. I mean, now you see the Klamath County Chamber of Commerce doing a podcast and having that on Facebook. And so I think times are changing, and I think it's a perfect time to have those younger leaders coming in and really bringing the associations into the 21st century. So I've gotten a lot of really good feedback from it.
So we have a women's leadership event in November every year.
Mhm.
And so I always survey women in leadership roles in our community. And some of the things that I hear on a regular basis are that women don't always feel invited to the table here in our community. They don't always feel like women support other women here in our community very
Mhm.
well, and that sometimes they struggle with some of the gaps in employment. Have you felt any of that?
So personally, I have only ever had the women of the community support me. I mean, between you and Teresa and Christine, I've had a lot of really great support from the women in this community. So I haven't necessarily felt that part of it. Um, I could see definitely like gaps in the employment and that kind of thing. But honestly, I haven't had too many struggles with it. I've always felt welcomed in Klamath Falls. Everyone has been supportive. I have people pull me aside and tell me how well I'm doing and invite me uh, to speak and have my mind heard. And I've I've never had any issues with it on a personal level.
Yeah.
But
What advice would you have for some women in leadership in our community? Maybe young people that want to step into a role as exciting as yours.
My advice for any women who are looking to get into leadership roles, especially young women, is to just go for it. My dad always used to tell me is that the worst thing anybody can tell you is no. And it only takes one yes to make a difference or to put yourself in a role where you can make a difference. So put yourself out there, let people tell you no, but make yourself heard and be consistent. If you want to be a part of this community, if you want to be a leader in this community, then don't be afraid to hear no because one day someone might tell you yes.
That's true. Have you had any experience where maybe something was a no and then it changed to a yes?
My job, actually. Um, when I first was interested in my role, um, I was younger. I had only been with the association for a year, and I didn't necessarily have a work background experience in the association or in nonprofits, even though I grew up around it. Um, so actually, my board, who is now my biggest fan, um, they didn't know that I was ready, and they really questioned that. And I truly didn't expect to take over this role when it became available. But I sat down with them and I had my interview and I told them the things that I wanted to do and the reasons that I believed I was the best fit. And I convinced them enough to give me a shot and they did. And now, I have a great relationship with them. They have been so supportive. They are my biggest cheerleaders and we're doing great things. So, like I said, it might be a no at first, but it only takes one yes. So put yourself out there.
It's easy to get lost. Don't know which path to take, what to post. In the social media jungle, video is king. Your kids are obsessed, your customers are addicted, we're all hooked, and social media sites prioritize videos. So when you're ready to stand out from the crowd, reach out to 40 Deuce Films. Feeling over everything.
So you just have to prove results. I think you said
Yeah.
that earlier in this interview too.
Hmm.
We, several of our guests that we've had on the podcast, like Eric at Linkville
Hmm.
Roofing comes to mind, Kristen at Dutch Bros, but several people have talked about hiring for some traits. So what do you think are some of the traits important in an executive director?
I think being personable is super important. Being organized because at the end of the day, everything falls on me. So even if you're delegating to board members or employees, it all comes back onto you. So making sure that you are organized, that you are personable, um, that you have a passion for the community. I think that those are all really important things. Being able to multitask. I am always doing multiple things at a time and being able to delegate and let things go and let people have their ideas that they want to bring to the association. I think all those things are really important.
How it talking about ideas,
Hmm.
I think about that because everyone has ideas, it feels like. So, how do you keep track of them and how do you figure out the good ideas and the ones that you're just going to like put in a file somewhere? Do you get a lot of ideas from people that say, you should do this?
Oh yeah, you always do. Everyone always has an opinion, right? And so I think the important thing with ideas is not to make people feel shut down, right? Because even if something might be an idea that you file away, that same person might have the best idea of the year down the road. So making them feel heard, making them feel important, even if you won't necessarily use that idea. Um, but my biggest thing with filtering ideas is what's important to my members, what's going to work with our goals as an association and what things might just be a little outside of that and what's actually going to benefit us. But I really lean on my committees and my board members and other people's insight, people who have been in the association longer than me. So I think it's about knowing what you want your goal to be as an executive director and knowing whose um, opinions you can count on, and just really like sifting through those and making everyone feel important.
Yeah, I think that's valid. You mentioned goal setting.
Mhm.
So, how do you set goals for the organization?
Well, one of the things that we just did with you was our strategic planning. So for that, we had our two strategic planning sessions. We wrote down kind of what we want to see the association do in the future over, the next 5 years, what we want that growth to look like. And then we kind of just do brainstorming sessions where, we knock out the bad ideas and filter out what's just white noise and what is actually obtainable and what's going to drive value for people. And it's really a group effort for those goals that we set.
hmm A lot of talking about strategic planning, a lot of organizations go through that. And I've heard of organizations where it just like goes into a file folder and they never look at it again. So, what are some of the things that you're doing to keep that top of mind?
So I think that one of the things that is really important is being realistic with your strategic plan and really making sure that you are going to add things to that strategic plan that are going to be important to you every single day. Because I know, some people I'm sure add things to their strategic plan and it falls to the back burner because it might not actually be something that should be on their strategic plan. So I think being very mindful of the things that you're putting in there so that it is achievable. And also, just I have a sticky note on on my desk that says, uh, every day is towards your goal. And I think just keeping those goals that you set top of mind and making sure that you are actively like reviewing them, making sure that you have goals that are important to you so that you are wanting to pursue them. I think it's really just about like the goals that you set and making sure that you are on top of yourself to stay accountable.
Mhm. You've mentioned growing the association,
Mhm.
obviously, but what's another one of the goals that you've set for the organization?
So, one of the goals that we set for the organization was to have I'm trying to think how they worded this. It was pretty creative in our planning session. Was to have, I think, the biggest and baddest home and outdoor expo in the Pacific Northwest, something along them lines. And and that's really important to us because the home expo is our Super Bowl of the year, right? It's when all of our vendors come out. It's when we really get to showcase those members, and it adds a lot of value for our members as far as, booking out their summers, obtaining leads, getting to be in the eye of the community where, they might not always be recognized. So that is one of our goals. And right now we're working on that with doing our out of house marketing plan and really driving our marketing overall and getting people signed up earlier so that they can be a part of that marketing scheme and um, adding new booths to uh, have more vendors at the expo this year. So
That's great. Is there going to be anything new at the expo that you can share with us?
So this year we're working on adding a kids zone to the expo so that parents can drop off their kids and go walk around, have a drink at our bar, and really just enjoy and get to stay longer. One of the things that we're trying to do is add value so that people who attend are staying longer and talking more with our professionals. So yeah, we're looking into adding a kids zone where they can do activities like possibly building little birdhouses or that kind of thing.
I'm curious from a process standpoint. There's a lot of talk in the world about artificial intelligence. Do you use AI?
I do use AI. AI is my best friend in my work life, in my personal life. Me and ChatGPT are like this.
So, one of the fun things I've been exploring with people is what are you using it for? So, tell me some of the things professionally and personally you've used chat for, if you don't mind.
everything. Okay, I'm serious. I could go on and on about ChatGPT. All right, this is my TED talk. So for work, I will have it help me draft agendas. I have it come up with creative ideas for me. It can produce graphics. So sometimes I'll have it help me with social media graphics that are going to be eye catching, that will make people stop scrolling. Um, I help it in my speech writing and in those PowerPoints. Um, I have it help me with training purposes. I used ChatGPT a lot when I was doing training with my assistant to create like task sheets for her and worksheets that she could fill out and that we could go over together. So truly, you can use it for anything. And if you are a business owner, manager, you should be using it. It's very helpful. In my personal life, I use it to help me set goals. I'll have it at the beginning of the year. I actually went over to ChatGPT and I said, I want to, set goals or set up kind of what I want my year to look like a vision board almost. And I asked it to, ask me a series of 5 or 6 questions individually to help me narrow down what I want my year to look like. What are some of the things I want to accomplish in my year? And it will go over it with you and it'll help you set those goals and narrow it down so it's really focused to you. Sometimes it's hard to do that yourself, to get the noise out of the way and get down to the nitty gritty of what you exactly want to be. And you do that for people when you do your strategic planning. And so you can use ChatGPT for that in your own personal life to help you set those goals and expectations for yourself. It can even help you with, what a day-to-day schedule would look like for someone who is trying to achieve those goals. Like you can use it in a lot of different ways to help you. If one of my goals is to be able to have a good work-life balance as a single mom. And so, sometimes I will have ChatGPT help me with things like that. Like what do I need to be mindful of so that I'm continuing to achieve that goal?
Have you asked your chat if it has a name?
I have not actually.
One of my friends just told me they asked their chat if they had a name. So then I did it. Mine's name is Maya.
Oh,
Yeah, kind of
interesting.
fascinating.
Well,
So if you ever hear me refer to Maya, my assistant, then you'll know what I'm talking
well,
about.
now I'm going to ask mine when I'm done with this.
Yeah, that's funny. I have that conversation with a lot of people. Actually, Jared, who produces this, we talk a lot about AI. One of our interviewees just in the last couple of weeks shared what he's using ChatGPT. So it's kind of interesting. Is chat the only one that you use?
No, actually, I also have an AI app called Minutes, and it takes audio recordings of my meetings and transcribes them into meeting minutes that are searchable. So even if it doesn't necessarily transcribe a certain thing someone said, you can go in there and type in what time is my next budget committee meeting and what's the date, and it'll search the audio recording and spit out an answer for you directly from it. And so that's another really helpful one that I used because I go through a lot of meetings.
Yes. You just taught me something. I'm like making a mental note, like I need to get that for our board meeting. So
Yes,
thanks for teaching that.
super helpful.
That's awesome. You mentioned work-life balance and being a mom of a young one. So how do you do that?
So one of my big things when I was taking over this role that I expressed to my board is that I need to be flexible. That's one of the biggest things with taking over my role is the flexibility of my schedule, and being able to maintain that because I'm not only a mom of a little one, but I'm also a single parent. So it's just me and my son. So, when he needs something or when there's an event going on that is on my shoulders, and I need to make sure that he is as taken care of as the association. So I think being really upfront about what your needs are with your employer or with your board is super important. When I took over this role, I was very adamant on what I needed my schedule to look like so that I could maintain that work life balance, so that I wasn't getting burnt out. And I think as an employer, too, it's really important to be mindful of people's work life balance. I know corporate America, I worked down in Southern California where I was just someone on a spreadsheet. And um, I think it's really important to have work life balance. And as an employer, being able to, recognize that and recognize that just because something is someone's paycheck doesn't mean it's their only priority, and being understanding of people's lives. Like, we're all just doing our best and it's our first time living. So um I think it is important, though, to make yourself heard on what you need so that you can maintain that work life balance, and making sure that you are not over, how do I want to say this? That's- um, Making sure that like what your priorities are, and what is most important to you and what is going to need your time and attention, so that you can kind of balance those between each other. Like, for me personally, I have Fridays off. My office is closed on Fridays, and I just do by appointment, so that I have a day where I can recharge my own personal self while my son is still in daycare, and get my own personal tasks or appointments and that kind of thing done. So I think just realizing what you need to maintain that, and being really firm on that with your employer or with your association. And because I think it's better to have someone who's really happy in their role and not burnt out, rather than be open on a Friday or whatever the case may be for that certain individual.
I think that's an important lesson for employers. We at the chamber, I hear a lot that some people really struggle to find or keep good employees, and I do encourage them to think a little bit outside the box. Like
Hmm.
sometimes your budget just doesn't allow you to pay top dollar,
Right.
but there's things that you can do to make that such a good experience for the employee that
Yeah.
uh, it might not matter as much. And I think that that work life balance and flexibility and treating people like a person and not just an employee number
Yeah.
can be beneficial.
It definitely is, because I mean, having because really at the end of the day, you're paying people for their time and their stress and whatever service they're providing you. So it's really for that person, it could be about, like, am I enjoying work? Is this somewhere that I want to be? And there's people even in this community who do a lot of talking about that. Like Pam Green, I remember she did a speech at one of your events, and she said, I had an employee who was late all the time and couldn't get there at 8 o'clock to save his life. So I changed his schedule to 9, and now he's there early every day. And he is happier, and I'm less stressed because he's not late, and he's less stressed because he's not late. So I think you're right. Like, thinking outside of the box and working with people, um, and allowing them to achieve that work, that's what's going to keep people at your business, at your association, longtime employees, is having that good relationship with them and being an understanding boss. And, if it's not going to tank your business at the end, and it's more important to you to keep that person because they're a good employee, I think it's more beneficial to be flexible instead of just that corporate America mentality that we've had for so many years.
I think so too. So we're nearing the end of our time, but tell
Mhm.
me, we've talked about goal setting and you're kind of new at the Home Builders. What is your big goal 5 years from now for the Home Builders Association?
5 years from now. So I think my big goal for the Home Builders Association is to double our membership within the next 5 years. I think that would be amazing. We used to have a much bigger membership list back in the day. So we're really trying to drive value in the association so that we can do that, retaining our members and growing our members. So in the next 5 years, I would like to see our membership double and um, have even more contractors in the area be a part of our association so that we can help Klamath Falls grow even more.
That's great. What's a personal goal you have over the next 5 years for you yourself?
I think a personal goal for me, that's also in relationship to the association and growing it, would to be able to have more employees at the association so that we can focus on more things. That's my own personal goal. If you were to go over to the Medford Home Builders Association, they have 4 employees, and so I would like to see us grow our employee base so that we can help more members, so that we can do more events, we can have more outreach and more focus in the office, um, and delegate more things to other employees. So I think that'd be my personal goal.
Great. Thank you for your time today. If I give you $250,000 to do something by the end of the day to make a difference in our community, what would you do with it?
If I had $250,000, I would use it to fund scholarships for our KCC apprenticeship program to get more people into the building industry. We really need skilled and trained professionals in the area, so I would fund scholarships for people to get those skills.
Great. Tell me about one of your role models.
My dad is my biggest role model. He is an amazing man. He raised me all by himself from the time that I was 5 years old. He really pushed me to be the person that I am now. He always had me involved with his nonprofit. He really pushed me to be a hard worker, to speak to people, to be outgoing. And I think that all of those things and those values he instilled in me has really allowed me to be who I am in the community today.
That's great. Tell me about your perfect day in Klamath. What would you do?
My perfect day in Klamath, I would wake up and go to BS Coffee. And I would get an iced churro chai. It's delicious if you haven't had one. And then I would go to Canvasback Books, and I would go to Basin Book Trader. I'm a big reader, so I would go peruse the aisles. I would go to Woodsy Kitchen, sample their oils and their balsamics. And then I would take my son and go to Moore Park and feed the ducks and let him play on the playground there. And then I think we would probably go out to Merrill, to the Polar Bear, get ice cream, and then just go home and relax and watch some of our beautiful sunsets.
That sounds like a perfect day.
It is a perfect day.
Thank you for your time. And thank you to our producer, 40 Deuce Films.